Let's fix this little bit of Yamaha.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Today we're going to be working on this Yamaha TTR50E. It's a little kid's bike. I think it's a single speed electric start. Let me double check that. Does this thing have a shifter? Oh, it does have a shifter, so semi-automatic. I take it back. I haven't ridden it, so I don't know. It was a friend of a friend contacted me, said that it wasn't running very good, and then it was making a clicking noise, which I figured was a dead battery. I already kind of got started on this thing, but let me show you what it takes to get the seat and the tank off, and the carburetor and the battery and all that. All right, like I said, I got a little bit excited and started on this thing before I made the video. So to get the seat off, there are two bolts underneath it. Right there. Right there and there. Two bolts. You take those out, and the whole seat, rear fender, and side panels comes off. Then to take the tank off, go on this side over here, turn your fuel valve to off, disconnect the fuel line from the carburetor down here, take this rubber strap off, and then there's two bolts, one on each side in the front. They should be 10 millimeter. This one, someone's been messing with it. There was a 10 and an 8, but that's okay. And the bolts on the seat also are 10 millimeter. And the tank should just come right off. Now, when this was delivered to me, I didn't get a key, so I can also show you how to, here you go, air quotes, hot wire this thing. The battery is under the cover on this side, right here. The cover's right there. I already have that off and charging. The cover sits over it like this. Two 10 millimeter bolts. There's a rubber strap that goes around the battery. It's kind of difficult to get out here. This wire loom right here is kind of jammed into this channel, so I pulled it up and out. And this battery unplugs like that. I'll go show you the battery. It's a little different than most motorcycle batteries. And here's the battery. It just has like spade terminals on it instead of the normal bolts that go through. I was going to recommend a trickle charger for this, but I'm going to have to do a little research and see if there's a way to hook one up into this system. Fortunately, my alligator clips look like they're doing the job. Yep, it's chooching away here charging. That thing was a little bit under 12 volts, so we'll let that charge. All right, at this point, we're going to remove the carburetor, and it looks like we have a small Allen bolt there holding the air boot on, maybe a 4 millimeter. Here's your choke, which goes right up to here. I didn't even know it was all the way on. Okay. Yep, you just unscrew that, and then a couple Allen bolts there. It looks like we have some sort of a maybe temp sensor built into here for something, and we'll get to the throttle cable when we get to it. But I'll loosen that, take these out, disconnect these lines, take the choke off, and we'll see what it takes to get the throttle cable off. All right, after disconnecting everything, I was able to slide the carburetor out over to this side. There's a little cover that fits over here, 2 Phillips screws. Looks like that. And then this is like one of my least favorite kind of throttle cables to deal with. Kind of a pain to get out. So what I've done is I took the throttle cable housing off so I have extra room. And you just kind of gotta fish the cable out with like a needle nose pliers. And you gotta get this parallel. There's a little slot right here. It's kind of hard for me to do with one hand. I'll see if I can do it and still show you what's happening. Actually, I'll probably just shut it off and show you. There's the slot, and then be careful you don't lose these things. They pop right off like this. When you put it back on, there's a bigger hole in that end. So kind of a pain. Don't Don't lose those. I think this one should unscrew from here, and this one probably just pops out, but it's held in with an 8mm bolt, which I've already taken out right there. So you have your pull and your push cable. I'll get them off. We'll get the carburetor on the bench. Pretty simple little carburetor here. We'll remove the float bowl, take a look at it. I was able to get it started. Oh man, I forgot to show you the hot wire job I did. I was able to get it started. It ran okay. Probably just needs just a little bit of cleaning in here. I went my screwdriver. See, there's a little bit of muck in the bottom. You can see there's some fuel deposits on the float, and likely this idle jet right here, pilot jet, is just a little bit dirty. Because it did run, it ran okay. Didn't seem like it wanted to idle, and I didn't know the choke was on, so. There's our pilot jet. Main jet looks like it maybe has a, no, I thought it might have a spacer underneath it, but it doesn't. Main jet, you can see light through it. And we'll get the float off and check that. I need just a little pin punch here maybe to pop that out. I just used my awl. Give it a little tap, push that pin out. And we'll check our needle. It's a little bit sticky. There's this little tiny focus there on the top. That little top piece should compress in and spring back, and this one doesn't seem to be doing that, so that could be a little bit of a problem. But we'll clean all this up. I don't know if I'll pull the top end of this off. Probably should. But the little slide inside of there is connected to the throttle linkage. So I don't know if I'll be able to pull that out or not. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. They can be a pain. But it'd be nice if I could get that out, because then possibly I could push that emulsion tube out. I may be able to without taking that out. I don't like to pry on it too much, but I'll try. Okay, I removed the slide here. There's a screw that holds this onto the arm. It goes through here. I don't know if you'll be able to see the hole in there. It's probably right there. And then you had to pull this out a little bit. So it's off the spring. It's kind of a pain. I don't recommend always doing that if you think you can get away with it, but I wanted to check this emulsion tube and clean this up, because sometimes this can cause some real erratic issues. This one doesn't look too bad. But I sprayed a little carb cleaner in the bowl there to let those jets soak. Sprayed this off a little bit, but it still needs some more work. So we'll clean everything up. Here's the pilot jet, and I have some guitar string. I always like to use that. Use the smallest one that'll fit through there. That way at least you know that it's clear. I'll run that through, spray some carb cleaner, do that a couple times, make sure there's no obstructions, blow it out with air, reinstall it. I've already reinstalled the main jet. We're getting close. Just a little bit of grungy stuff down in there. Hopefully I'll be able to show you what I was talking about on this float needle. Excuse me, there we go. Now will we focus? That little indent should push in and out. Now a lot of times what will happen is those things will freeze up. So soak it in some carb cleaner. If you don't have carb cleaner, you can use degreaser or something like that. But that gives like a little bit of a cushion, I guess, when the float is acting on that needle. So it's important that works. Carburetor's back in one piece. Let's go try to get this thing back on there. Take your time installing these throttle cables. They are a pain. Just take your time and be patient. Do not lose those little brass pieces. Alright, everything's back in here, and I promised I'd show you about the ignition here. Since I didn't get a key with this, I followed the wire from that right here, unplugged it, and where the heck is it? Right there. I made a little jumper, because that's all it is. The key turns on, it connects those two. So I can just plug these two in on those two contacts, and then this thing should start up. So I'm going to put the tank on. I'll go get the battery, hook that up, and we'll see if this thing fires up. Battery's installed. Choke is off. Choke is on. All right. Not too bad. I'm going to take that battery off, we'll charge it up, and then we'll put the whole bike together, and we'll take it for a little spin. Battery's fully charged. It sounds like it runs pretty good. I'm going to pop it into gear, and I guess we'll see if I can ride it right between these two cars. Little bikes are always fun. Well, the good thing about a small bike is it's very easy to store. So I'll put it in the garage till they come pick it up, but this thing is ready to rock and roll. Easy to work on, simple little air-cooled bike, and electric start. Boy, kids got it good these days. All right, if you enjoy my content, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.